Hello and welcome. This is Japan, and I had kind of an interesting idea for a tier list here. I was going to try to test it out with the women's main roster on WWE, but I want to put them in what I think would be their D&D like class or like their what would they be best at. Now I got this kind of idea because Bailey is going to be on a D&D show, and I thought it would be kind of interesting to kind of put that into it. Obviously all of them could easily be fighters, but we're going to kind of just base it off of the best way it can based off of their mechanics and like their gimmicks and stuff like that. So Alba Fire, it's kind of an interesting one. I mean, she was just a witch, so I feel like if you kind of put that in there, it probably would be a warlock. I could see she'd definitely be like a kind of like a multi, faceted, but I think warlock would be pretty solid to put her in. Speaking of warlocks, I think obviously Alexa Bliss has to be just because like she has that patron type thing going on with Sister Abigail. You could also possibly put like cleric like on a little bit of a darker side, but I believe warlock is there. Then we have Ashka, who has like the poison mist, which is kind of could fit under, basically like a druid that has like poison spray and stuff like that. But for whatever reason, like with her gimmick, especially before that, like the Empress of Tomorrow and just stuff like that, I've always kind of got paladin vibes from her. This one just kind of a more vibe thing, but like that is my vibe from her. BFAB is a singer in real life. I think she would be a pretty solid bard. I think it works. Now Bailey is an interesting one because I'm not exactly sure where I'd put Bailey. She is playing a barbarian in that, and I kind of feel like that could be Bailey. She also has like that hideous laugh that she likes, like a vicious mockery. It could be bard wise. So I think like a bard and barbarian are pretty close to it. I'm gonna put her in barbarian though because that kind of fit what she wants to play. Then we have Bianca Belair. I think she's pretty solid to be a fighter. She's just like that type of person to just be like up there and doing it. Monk also could work, but like I think she's just the strongest. If it, like that's definitely a bard or I mean not bard, a barbarian or fighter. But I think fighter fits perfectly for her. Then we got the Poison Fairy, Candice LeRae. I feel like poison type stuff would be pretty good for her. I kind of view her as a rogue though. I feel like she's kind of sneakily in the background, so I think rogue would work pretty well. Carmella, who I don't think is currently on the roster anymore, she kind of has that same thing with like the dancing and stuff. I kind of get Bard vibes from her. But that's how I feel. Charlotte Flair is probably the holiest paladin in the world, but it has to be like paladin because cleric sometimes are not as like self righteous. But I feel like she fits as like a righteous paladin for sure. Then we got Chelsea Green, who's amazing on the mic. Definitely full of herself with with that type of stuff. I think Bard could fit really good with her. I'm really leaning towards that probably being the best. I hate to put everybody in a Bard, but I feel like they fit really well. And then we got Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai kind of has like that grungy feel to her on like some of her gimmicks that she's had. I kind of get like Wizard from her. It's kind of a kind of a thing. And then we got Io, who is the genius of the sky. I also really kind of get like that she could easily be a fighter. I think she's a monk. I think like just her dexterity and like her craziness, I think is very monk like. So we'll put her in this monk category. Ivy Nile is a barbarian. That one's super simple. She's just big, beefy, and all that. And then Jade Cargill, I'd also say is a barbarian, especially how she just raged on Naomi. I think I think that would be pretty solid to put her up there. Then we have Katana Chance. Katana Chance kind of gives me Ranger vibes. I don't know what it is, but I think it's just kind of maybe her like high flyingness, like being up in trees, and I don't know. Ranger does feel like her. Kairi Sane, who is the Sky Pirate, kind of feels like she's a rogue. I would say she's like a squashbuckling rogue. I think that just fits her gimmick perfectly. Um, Caden Carter, I think, might be similar, but like a little bit different. I think she's more of the rogue with the ranger type matchup. I think she still fits in this category, but I think she's the opposite of that. Kiana James, obviously, we haven't seen a lot of her. I feel like she kind of gave me a little bit of a vibes of a cleric, but it's kind of hard with her because I don't really even know what her gimmick is on the main roster. Then we got Liv Morgan, who's just been nothing about revenge and stuff, and I feel like she's kind of sold her soul out for that. I kind of feel she's got that warlock vibes going on right now. Then we got Lyra Valkyrie. I feel like she's a druid, but like the whole thing of like like a raven and that type of stuff that she kind of goes by. I think that's just kind of perfect druid behavior for her. Then we have Maxine, who's kind of just like a cheerleader. Bard could fit pretty well for her, but I feel like she doesn't really necessarily have like a defined one out of this. I think she might be one of the harder ones. Not really against anything about her. It's just like you don't really get a lot of like she doesn't get a lot of screen time to really get her character fully fleshed out there. I think I'll go with Bar just because like she inspires people and stuff like that. I think that would be still pretty solid. Meacham is a for sure either a monk or a fighter because of like the kendo stick wielding and stuff. I think we have less monks, so I'll put Meacham down there in that. And then we have the Glow Naomi, who just has become a villain, but I don't know if that's necessarily the truth, so I won't put her in Rogue just automatically because she's sneaky or anything. With the glow and stuff, that feels very paladin to me, so I think we should probably put her in there. She's like a holy paladin, like likes to use the light cantrip and stuff. Uh, Natalia, she's just like such a legend, like of certain stuff. I feel like she's kind of like a wizard, where she's like has so much wisdom to pass on to people, and she knows it all. So I think wizard works pretty well for Natalia. Nia Jax, I think, is like a barbarian because she just smashes through everything. She's got that brutality. She fits that really well. She rages too, really good too. Then we got Nikki Cross. I think that is probably could be like a sorcerer wizard, but I mean, come on, the White Six seem like they're like a coven of warlocks, so we're gonna put that over there in warlock. Piper Niven, barbarian could also fit, fighter could also fit. I feel like she's a little bit out there with not having much of a gimmick, so I think it's just kind of standard we'll put her in there. But I feel like we should see more of her. We could probably do that. Raquel Rodriguez, I feel like it's kind of like an enforcer to a certain extent. I don't know what that would fit is necessarily up here as much. I could see her probably going into the barbarian fighter thing. I think again she's kind of a little bit harder. Then next up we have Rhea Ripley. God, Rhea Ripley is a hard one because she's just so good in the ring, like of like everything. She fits like she would be somebody's like demon, like she would be the demon that makes the warlock deal. Um, I think I would put her in like a war cleric. I think war cleric works really well for her. And then Roxanne. Roxanne's like just a wizard of the game. Like she's just sneaky, but like also can just do amazing stuff out there. I think wizard works really well because wizards are very multi-tool and multi-fashion, and I think a lot of that could work for her. Valhalla is definitely a druid. I mean, it's pretty easy. Clairvoyant of Charlotte, not Charlotte, um, Scarlet. I think she is a warlock. I think she gets her powers from that. Shayna Baszler is kind of the definition of like a monk. She's very good grappling and stuff. Tamino, I haven't seen. I don't even know if she's still on the roster. Um, I don't honestly know. I think I'll just put her up at the top to be default, unfortunately. Then we got Tiffany Stratton. It's Tiffy time. I think she's kind of could be like a cleric slash like paladin type thing. I think it works really well for her. Just kind of she kind of brings out a like glow, but like also like she is a badass. So we'll put her right in there. Trish Stratus. Again, she's not really in a gimmick right now because she's kind of out there. Maybe put her kind of the same thing with Natalia, like a wizard, a lot of wisdom and stuff like that to pass on. Selena Vega is a really cool one because she also seems like somebody that would play D&D, and she has like just a lot of cool outfits. I think she'd be like a sorcerer wizard type thing because she just has like something that's like within like so probably definitely sorcerer. I like that. Zoe Stark, I think, is a monk, could possibly be a fighter. I think fighter just kind of fits her personality. And yeah, tell me what you guys think. Tell me if I should do this with the men's roster or anything. I like Dungeons and Dragons a lot. It makes it a little bit difficult with some of the gimmicks, but I thought like I'm like, man, like characters have gimmicks, and I saw that Bailey's gonna play. I'm like, what would those gimmicks fall under in a D&D world? Some of them fit perfectly. Some of them are just a feeling. Some of them are just kind of random because obviously they don't have as many of a gimmick. But some of these I really, really liked. I think they fit really perfect, and yeah, I was happy about it. So hopefully you guys agree, or if you have any changes, shoot them in the comments below. See who you would think would go where. But till next time, this has been Japan. Bye, guys.